You are watching Father Fish. Now please enjoy the video. You are watching Father Fish. Now please enjoy the video.
In the morning.
I am here. I hope you all are doing well.
Well, hello. How's everybody? Nice to be here. I'm here all alone. Shelby will not be with us tonight. She's got family matters to deal with. She has a couple of young children, young teenagers, I guess. So she's got her hands full. Grenwood, Ebor Millie, James Green. Who else is here? Kenneth D. Hello, Kenneth. Scott Stankovich. Hi, Scott. And EJ and 3G. Hello, all. Nice to be here. Nice to be with you this evening. So, let's see. I need to explain Wednesday. We were going to have Aquafunk on Wednesday, and he crapped out on us. He just was having a really bad day, and there was no way he was going to be able to make it. So he called me around 5 or 6 o'clock, and I struggled for a while, and I was kind of in the same condition he was in. So I wound up blowing it off, as they say, not doing Wednesday night at all. Now, I do have some, I've got 2 programs lined up for the NOAA project next week, both of which I think will be really interesting. The first one on Monday is going to come on at about 6 in the evening. It will be with a Florida fish farmer, a young man who has started a farm and been building a business for about 5 years now and is really doing quite well. On Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be interviewing a very old friend, Rick Hahn, who is the owner of the Catoctin Mountain Zoological Park. And he's going to give us a bit of a tour of the park and will be talking about the whole issue of private ownership of animals. He's uniquely equipped to discuss the issue, has many friends who have substantial collections of animals, started, in fact, a private zoo organization some years ago that has some rather remarkable members, but he'll be talking about that. That'll be really interesting. We're going to discuss in part the implications of the Lacey Act amendments on the private ownership of animals, particularly uh, substantial collectors of animals. Tigress 5606, hello, hello. 3G, good evening. EJ, hi. So that's next week. Mary and I are going to be doing, Mary Page, going to be doing an unusual live stream tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. It will be in part or in the main how this hobby and the fish fam and this fish tube has been of benefit to her and to me for that matter. How it has, in many ways, been a lifesaver. I think there are a lot of people with that story. So we want to introduce the theme and dig into it a bit. And in part, what I'm doing is casting about for um, a formula for material that's going to be of significant interest to people on the fish fam, and beyond that, if that's reasonable to do. Big Tank Hank, nice to see you. Great to have you here. Scott Stankovich, Markio 306. Hey, Marky, nice to have you here. And then on Sunday night, Mary will be here. We'll be doing a live stream that'll be essentially driven by the chat on those issues and interests that are significant to our listeners, to those of you plugging in. John S. Love. Hello, John S. Nice to see you. So that's the week coming up. If you have not yet had an opportunity to check in on our Discord channel, it is a remarkable site. There are probably 20 channels on our Discord, on the Fatherfish Discord, and they're all topical and they're all covering different aspects of the hobby. A few of them are covering things that have nothing to do with the hobby, but are of a personal interest to those participating. It's a rather remarkable site. Lots of really excellent resources. People who know their way around the hobby, and people who are very well informed about a lot of things. We've been having a really substantial discussion, pro and con, about the war in the Ukraine. And we have some very unique opinions about that, very different opinions, differing opinions. If that's something of interest to you, you might want to plug in on that. Basically, what we've tried to do is open the door to a broader range of topics and conversation than we are effectively permitted to have here on YouTube. And it does draw interest from a limited but very serious and committed group of people. So you're welcome to join us there. I don't have, let me get the link up for you. I can do that, I think. In a minute. Kenny D, hello everyone. Hope you and your families are having a pleasant, beautiful day. Likewise, Kenny. Let's see. Here we go. Well, what did I do? Here we go. All right. So I'm posting the link for Discord. Feel free to join us there. We've got close to 800 members. There are upwards of 100 online at any one given point in time. So it's got some real engagement. Oh, let's see. We don't have a topic this evening. We could do a NOAA since we missed out last week. If there's anyone that would like to show off their tanks or systems or whatever, you're welcome to pop in. Click on the link posted at the top of the chat. Up there with top chat. And that'll lead you in and we'll get you on and we can talk about stuff. Talk about what you're doing. Officially, hello, hello. Rob's Aquarium Room. Hello, Rob's. Good to see you. I was able to get some shipments out today. There are a few who have been waiting for plants. I got those out. There were a few people waiting for Pygmy Sunfish. I got 2 of the 3 orders out. There's a large order I was not able to get shipped. I just did not have enough to do it. So I'm hoping very soon to be able to get that together and get that shipment out. But this is a great time if you're interested in the Florida natives, particularly the Formosa, the Pygmy Sunfish, golden top minnows, flagfish, all of those, even green sailfin mollies. They're all available now. I will be making it possible. EJ said he'd like to get home, but he needs to get home first. Well, if we're still here when you get home, pop up, EJ. Be fun to see what you're doing. One of the major wholesalers has agreed to carry some of their natives. So we'll be making them more generally available, but I think they're going to wind up being painfully expensive by the time they get to a local shop. So we'll see how that goes. Rob's Aquarium Room. Hello, Rob. Ooh. Tigris wants to place an order for plants. I just got a bunch of really nice new plants in that are not listed. But let me give you, I can find the list. Here it is. I got hygro, willow hygro, red rotella, rotella willichi, scarlet temple, some Aponogeton volvitis and ulvaceous, red root floater. I got some moss, Physidens nobilis, bacopa, and a really interesting one. Oh, 4-leaf clover, and the mosaic plant, which is has a floating leaf that looks um, like a diamond tiara or something. It's really quite pretty. I'm hoping to get Bucephalandra. I got enough to be able to get some off to Peplin. He had ordered them. I got them to him. They failed. I was able to get a few more, and I got those off today, along with a few other little beauties. But the four-leaf clover is pretty neat. The mosaic is interesting. The beautiful, the four-leaf clover, red roof floater, scarlet temple, some nice plants. In addition to what is on the list, I think none of those are on the list. I need to try to get them up so that you can order. But if you hear anything you're interested in, you can also contact me through PayPal. It's fatherfish@fatherfish.net on PayPal, and put in a request there, or send an email to me at fthrfish@gmail.com. I drank some beer for dinner and it's repeating on me. My apology. Oh, goodness. See if I can get it down. Abolished. Hello. I want four-leaf bacopa, maybe valves. I do have valves. I've got some corkscrew as well as some, well, I also have some large sage, which is quite nice. The plants average $7.50 a piece for pretty much everything. The Eponogetans are more; they're $10. Everything else is about $7.50. And you can order, as I said, either at my website, fatherfishaquarium.net, or through Get Gills, the Fatherfish store, or directly by contacting me on email at fthrfish@gmail, or on PayPal at fatherfish@fatherfish.net. I do take payment on PayPal. So please feel free to order. I need to get orders in this one. I'm going to be struggling through the month. Abolish, good to see you. Tigress, good. Captain, Corporal Jagger, hello, hello. Red Rotella. Yes, I do have red Rotella. I think I've got a couple. I've got Rotella Indica, Rotella Red. I have those two Rotellas. I have Willow Hygro and Bacopa. And I mentioned the two Eponogetans. So that's what just came in, actually yesterday, and is in the tanks at the moment. Yes, those are Wiro begging for food. Let me show you. They absolutely are. Look at them. Wiro, and I've got discus in there as well. Let's get some. We'll get a little food for them. They do love to eat. I need to show you my food container. I have a quart jar with a hole in the lid, and I've got this prime food. Which actually, it's not prime. It's the Japanese food that I've talked about, and it pours like so. There's some larger wire here that are getting a little better. I've got some cichlids in here I need to take out. They tend to be a little aggressive, so they're going to come out. They're going down to Andes. and then these guys will be by themselves. And I think they'll do much better. We'll see. They're kind of large. They're almost breeding size. They were given to me about a month ago, and they came in sort of tank shocked. And they haven't overcome that. They may not. These guys, on the other hand, are in wonderful condition. They're all looking terrific. The discus and the waru. It's a really good combination of fish because they're from the same water. They have the same requirements, same temperature, and so forth. And they do well together. There's no aggression at all between them. The waru is really quite a peaceful fish, as of course are discus. These are all about 3 inches, a little better than 3 inches. Going on 4. The waru are a little longer, but they're all about the same size. So I also have a few smaller fish. I've got oh dear, what are they called? The little ember tetras. I'll show you those. They're doing really well. I do have some for sale, so I can sell embers. They're $5 a piece. And I've got about, I don't know how many, a dozen, 20 something, maybe 20. And they're doing really well. A little small, but real healthy and doing well. Let me give them a little food while we're at it. What do I do with the food here? Oh. There we go. We got a few little guys in here. Not enough to sell. Need to get more. And this is the, I do have silver hatchets, and I've got some rams, some German blue rams. They're not paired off yet. This is the black water tank. That's pretty black water. You just barely see into it. Oh, the other thing I have is some small discs. So I'm going to sell these. They're like 1 inch to 1.5 inches, $10 a piece. They are pigeon blood. Their parents are pigeon blood. So they'll only ship overnight, but I am willing to ship them out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 of those. And I want to sell them. And gotta get that tank clear. Mary Page. Hey, Mary. Mary Page just donated $3. Thank you, Mary. What a dear you are. Let's get it posted right there. Thank you. Let's see, what else? Let me go back here. Let's see. Are you right? Let's see. Officially, I haven't had good luck recently buying online with some sellers. They're sending substitute plans without letting me know. Then they don't want a refund. I want some form of twisted valve. I just sold a bunch today. I've got 1, 2. I do have small ones that just came in. Corkscrew valve. I've got a nice group of those, and I can sell them more cheaply. I think I've got 1 or 2 big ones left. Maybe not. I think I've sold all the big ones. There's one. And then a group of small ones. I do have those. I've got corkscrew. They're going to run $5, and that'll include some extras because they're kind of small. Mary is lurking and working. Let's see. Granwood saying I managed to get some giant hair grass yesterday. Too tall for the tents I have. It's a nice plant. They do get big. Hair grass is a little tricky to get going. Generally, it dies back, and then the root system will begin sending up new leaves. The four-leaf clover is like that too. When you plant it, the root system is really what you're buying. It builds that root system much the way mycelium does, fungus. It builds a strong root system, and then that begins producing plants. So it won't do much for a while. It may be several months, but that root system is growing and building. And once it's established, there will be all kinds of growth. So hair grass is like that, four-leaf clover is like that, number of other plants. The critical thing they're doing is putting down a root bed that lots of plants will grow up from. Dooby-doo. Ooh. Grenwood. Just started my third back-to-back 6-day stretch at work. Whoa. So I could have a better weekend, but money's good. Indeed it is. Mary Page, happy Mother's Day weekend. Oh, Mary posted the merch channel. I didn't wear my merch shirt. I should do that. Mary Page said, oops, that was supposed to be to become a member. Oh dear. I can't do that. I can't make someone a member. You have to do that yourself. Well, thank you, Mary. It's the sentiment that counts, isn't it? Kenneth D., happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful ladies. Yes, indeed. Blessed, lovely weekend. Paul McCarthy. Hello, Paul. Nice to see you. EJ said, I actually want the small corkscrews. Well, I've got those. For 24-hour fishy conversation, head over to Discord. That is ongoing. It really is 24/7. We have a European contingent that are up all night, our night, their day. We've also got folks in Australia that are on in the middle of the night. Mary Page is welcoming Paul McCarthy. EJ saying, I've been successful growing hairgrass immersed. That's probably the best way to get it going. Do I plant it in a big clump or separate into small strands? What I try to do is small clumps. I'll do I'll kind of break it off from the major clump and then do smaller clumps of 5 or 6 or 8 plants in a clump. Everybody's got their own system. Pulling them off one at a time gets to be too much like work. But a group of them, that works pretty well. Oh, Lord. Let's see, what else is cooking? Not a lot. I've been trying to figure out, I've noticed with with some of my videos, if they hit after about 12 to 24 hours, some of them will just, they'll be going along like this and they'll go straight up. They'll get huge amount of hits, and that'll last for about 24 hours, and then it just stops dead. Getting lots of hits, everything is active and busy, and then it'll hit a point where it'll go, it'll just stop cold. I think it has to do with the shares. The shares just stop at a given point in time, and I haven't figured out why that is. I thought it might have to do with making changes, but this last video I did, same thing happened. After about 20 hours, it just stopped dead in its tracks and absolutely died for no apparent reason. I'm sure it's got something to do with the way the algorithm works or doesn't work, whatever. AJ's coming up in 2 minutes, he says. How do you keep large 6 to 10 inch fish? Deep sand in a canister or just a whole lot of plants? Depends on the fish. Like these 6 to 10 inch big fish, I keep in big tanks with a very deep sand bed, typically without dirt, at least in a new tank, because they tend to be diggers and they'll tend to dig it up. But if it's really deep and you start filling it with plants and rock work and another hardscape like driftwood, it'll pretty well control the digging. They may find a spot where they'll nest, but they won't do it nearly as routinely. If you break that up with hardscape and with plants, it controls it. I try to keep big fish in very big tanks, like 150 minimum, 125 maybe, 200 is preferable. In a 200-gallon tank, you can keep a bunch of big fish, like 15, 20. And if you've got Africans, you can keep more than that. You can have 20 to 30 fish in a tank that size, and it looks pretty spectacular. What you don't want to get is, you don't want to get it so overstocked that if the air cuts off, you take losses. You want to make sure that the tank is able to sustain the fish without water movement, without an air pump or a water pump or some other source of moving water. I tend not to use canisters, mainly because they're just not dependable. After a period of time, a year or so, they all seem to leak. It's hard sometimes to get them, once you start cleaning them, to get them put back together right, to get the siphon going right. They just tend to be a pain in the neck. I think the most important thing, if you got a deep sand bed, the most important thing is water flow. Put a good sized pump in there to get the water moving. Sponge filters, big ones, not little ones, big sponge filters. There's EJ. Let's get EJ up here. And
hi. Okay.
Hi there.
You have no idea what I'm doing with this.
Good to see you.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
We've been chatting online. I didn't know whether you were a girl or a guy.
Oh, that's the beauty of it with initials like that.
Well, you've given yourself away now.
Unfortunately, I'm trying to turn this around. I'm on a phone. I'm trying to turn the camera so that you can see.
Well, there is a button. It's a little gear mechanism, I think. If you punch that, it'll reverse. There you go. That was. Oh,
nope, that just turned it off.
Yeah, that turned it off. That wasn't it.
Yeah. It doesn't have. It's unusual. It doesn't have that in the settings.
There
Oh,
is.
here we go. Here we go. Facing front, facing back.
That's it.
Try that. Ah,
There you go.
yeah. There
Right.
we go.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, let's get up close. Oh, how nice. That is pretty.
I've got a little bit of leaf
I've been
litter in the
looking at
back.
this on Discord. What a great tank.
It's my masterpiece. I've been basically taking everything that I've learned through mistakes since October and kind of combined it into this one. And I've been working on it for 2 weeks. Just taking my time with the hardscape. Look, there's baby shrimp, if you can see them.
Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I had a bunch of red cherries that accidentally bred in another tank.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I've added the snails. I'm getting a lot of weird stuff growing on there, which is natural. But I thought, I need to start putting something in there that will start eating it. Do you see that little red shrimp that's eating something on my moss?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's eating something on my moss.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, a little bit of diatoms that, the Christmas moss just collects everything.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, and like half of these plants, I don't even know what they are. I just sort of grabbed them. I kind of started just going to Petco, and they have a bunch of plants in there that are loose that they end up throwing out, and so I would take them.
Good
I
for
would just
you.
take them. Some of them were sad looking, and I would just try to see if I could grow them back, and it worked. Look, there's my one tiny little corkscrew. It's all alone. The only one I have. So that's what I've been working on. But
I love it. Now, what kind of fish? What kind of fish you got in there?
I haven't gotten any fish yet. I've just got snails and baby shrimp I just added today. There's a ton of little microfauna all over the glass, paramecia, copepods.
Yep.
I put scuds and blackworms in there. They were playing around last night. These scuds are nocturnal, so I mean they go crazy, especially when they don't have any natural predators. What?
What kind of fish do you want to do?
I'm obsessed with nanofish, micro predators.
Okay.
Absolutely obsessed. I've got 13 pea puffers in another tank. I don't know if I'll be able to put them in this one because I want so many other nanofish in here, like scarlet baddis. I don't know. I was kind of want to get my hands on a pygmy sunfish, a couple of them. They would have their own little spot here, and then I would do something like it's kind of like a kid in a candy store. I have chili rasboras, I have CBDs, and my
embers.
The what?
Embers.
I haven't kept embers. I wasn't as I have green neon tetras.
Oh, they're pretty fish.
They are. I like them. I like them better than cardinals and regular neons. They just, yeah.
Yep.
I like the small versions. What?
They're much hardier. They're very hardy fish.
I found that actually. The information online it's just crazy. I've been doing this since October, and I've just been researching the heck out of everything that I'm interested in. And it's crazy what you read on the internet and then what you try and experiment with.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's completely different results. Oh, look, here's a scud.
I've got Phoenix Tetras too. Just a few of them.
Yeah. I was looking at Phoenix or chilies, and I don't know. I just really like the chilies. Phoenixes are beautiful. Some people can't tell the difference between them.
Also, the Suda McGill.
Suda McGill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty one. It's a
ignore that. That's my
a rainbow. It's really not a rainbow. Uh-oh. Here we go. Now we're in trouble.
Yeah, this is I turned my back patio into my my experiment room. So that's my culture. I just threw a bunch of snails in there, and I have scuds everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, there's scuds.
Nice.
And there's blackworms in there, and occasionally I grow. I mean, there's it's a moss that just its algae just keeps growing. Occasionally I just like grab a bunch of it and pull it out. But I mean, so far they're just pretty happy in there. I find that the bladder snails do better when you have a big group of algae growing.
Right.
They, if you don't have that, for some reason, I think, I'll be honest with you, I know it's a bad word, but I know I have planaria in there as well. And they do eat some things, but if you have it all working together as an ecosystem, it is what it is. You want to go natural, you're going to have planaria.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they are controllable. A betta is a great way to control them.
Oh, yes, I do love betas. Oh, yeah, I do love betas. But how I accidentally got into I guess you could say a food web was somebody gave me a bunch of these. And that's frog bed.
Looks like Salvania.
The what?
Salvania?
Oh, that's what they call it, Sylvania? I don't know. They call it frog bed. But
frog bed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They and it just exploded. And so I don't know what it was. I was just thinking I would gather them from the tanks and then I would kind of just throw them in. Hold on. This is seriously a mess. My significant other thinks I'm crazy.
Where do you live? You're outdoors there.
Yeah, I live actually in the middle of Houston, Texas, in the middle of the inner city. So this is definitely not popular.
Wow.
But
nice.
I would threw all my excess stuff in here, and then for some reason, it kind of builds up. It's old aquarium water. It's composting.
Right.
And I dug a bunch of stuff out, and then the next thing I noticed was there's a bunch of stuff in there that's like microfauna. And next thing you know, I'm studying half of it and taking like turkey basters and looking at it under a microscope. Here's my main green water culture.
Yeah. Huh.
That one happened because I was growing I got a bunch of plants and I was growing a lot of them outside. And so this one, I had a bunch of plants in there, including water sprite, which is a big, and then I took them all out and immediately green water happened.
Yeah.
And I think there's an actual chemical process for it. So I know you can't see it, but for fun, I stuck a bunch of Daphnia in there to see if they would, I don't know, die or live. They're in there.
I love that green water.
Oh, they do. I mean, that's why I have it, because I have Daphnia cultures. And I don't know why some folks think they're hard to keep. These things, I tried to create a green water culture in here, and I accidentally put a bunch of Daphnia in there. There's a bunch of them in there somewhere playing around.
I'll clear it right up. I love to. Yeah, I like the soda bottles. That's cool.
Yeah, well, it's actually water. It's RO water.
Okay.
Just like I said, I've been just experimenting with a bunch of different stuff on the internet. This has actually been here for a couple of days. This was Infusoria. So I took a old sponge filter and I squeezed it, and then I put it in here along with a couple of boiled cucumbers and aquarium water, and it turned green overnight. And apparently that's what they said is called an Infusoria culture.
Right.
It went green faster than any of my other experiments.
Huh. Nice.
So this is after 2 days, which doesn't normally happen like that. But yeah, and then you can't see it, but there's a bunch of little micro, like they look like little dots, and they're just traveling all around in here. And you can see them because it's like just white gravel that I picked up.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, and some of my plants that I grew immersed. That's, yeah.
You got lots of food for fish. Now you do fish.
I got more than I know what to do with. In fact, my husband thinks I'm crazy, so I just feed him and tell him that I love him, and he shuts up then.
That's good. Yeah, I think nanos are the right way to go. That'll work really well.
I haven't
put a list together. Pretty much everything you've mentioned, I either have or can get pretty easily. Chilies have not been available for a few weeks, but they will be back.
Yeah, isn't I mean, I don't know. I've only been doing this since October, but it seems like there's some things that are cyclical. At least some fish are more available at certain other times. I mean, I haven't been
Yeah, that's
the one
right. It's absolutely right. Yep.
because yeah, at one point I was looking for puffers, couldn't find any, and then next thing I know, everybody's got puffers. And then somebody the other day tried their hand at puffers, didn't work, and so they gave me 7 of them. Apparently, 2 of them he accidentally bred.
What kind?
Pea puffers. Oh, nanofish. Remember?
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Nano. Yeah, I've got
Nice.
13 of them in a tank right now, just a holding tank, because I kind of broke apart. In order to build that 75, I just broke apart everything and just, put all the other fish in holding tanks, like this one. It's not your permanent home, babies, I swear. I don't know. Can you see that, bro? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some rummy noses in there, which I love. I love the rummy noses.
Nice fish. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably the largest fish other than a beta that I have.
Huh. Okay.
So, yeah, they're just kind of hanging out there for right now. I found that pothos and Philid. Well, that's not Philid.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of please don't think it's fish abuse. I've got a little bit of water evaporation, but they're fine. They're fine. They're working. It's just for a short while. Just for a short while.
No, it looks wonderful. You're doing amazingly well. Just real impressive.
I'm fortunate to live in a climate that just loves growth, and
yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
It's been good too. I kind of got into this because my daughter developed type 1 diabetes. She's 13, and my son, who's 12, he went blind. Rare genetic disorder. So it's been a little stressful.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so instead of turning to drugs and alcohol, I turned to fish.
Yeah, really, I hear you.
It's probably about the same amount of money, so.
Yeah, probably.
But it's been really, really cool, and I don't know, I mean, I've made some small scapes. Okay, let me go back to, ignore my house. It's an absolute mess. It always is on a Friday night. It just is. But this is my big display tank. And I broke down a lot of
your camera. Yeah,
the what?
Sideways. Turn your camera. Yeah.
Is that good? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's projecting sideways.
Oh. Yeah. I'm decent at technology, but how things look, I'm just on one side. I don't know how to handle it
That's an enormously impressive tank. The variety that you have in there and the effective growth really is wonderful.
I don't do high tech. I just, I saw that. I saw what a lot of people were suggesting that, and I think I need to replant that. I turned the. I've got some red rooters, by the way, in there, as well as I've got 3 water lettuce that somebody gave me because I gave him some of my Pygmy corridoras, and so he just gave me a bunch of plants. But and if you want to look at the substrate, it looks like it's all sand, but it's not. What I did is I put about 2 inches of substrate and put a bunch of stuff in there. I didn't have bone meal, but and blood worms. I just put a bunch of stuff in the soil, and then I capped it with place sand after I rinsed it. But what I did is I made sure that I kind of, how do I describe this? I took one of those aquascaping tools and I made a separation between the glass and the soil, and then I put sand in between, and then I made it a little bit like, this is probably about 2-inch cap, and this is like closer to a 4-inch cap, but the soil is pretty much all the same.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's kind of follows a lot of what I would watching. I mean, I got into this because I saw some beautiful stuff like Serpa Design, the flower horn, that MD guy from Australia. I mean, it's some gorgeous stuff. I mean, keep in mind, all looks beautiful, but the long-term maintenance and other things, obviously, there's more to it. And I'm not going to do the high-tech thing. I don't want to do it. I like making it easy.
I don't see why you would want to. This is so successful. It's really impressive.
So the lighting that I use is actually, those cheap Amazon full spectrum lighting. Oh, that one floated.
Yep,
Oh, well.
Yep.
Yeah. So I can't do it with this one because this one doesn't have a proper lid, but the smaller tanks usually come with like a black lid. And so what I was doing is I was attaching or DIYing these plant full spectrum lighting to like the lids,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've turned into quite the handyman too with all of this.
You.
And I just I guess you could say DIY, jerry-rigged, I don't know what the term is these days, and made it, but at the same time, it's all about making it still look pretty too. So,
Yeah.
and they just, the plants really like the lighting. So I'm like, $15 on Amazon as opposed to $200.
I hear you.
I can work with this.
You bet.
Mm-hmm. But this replaced my old 55, which was my old centerpiece, but 55 wasn't enough. I wanted more plants. So that's why I have the 75. But at the beginning of this year, when I found out that my daughter had diabetes, we were in the hospital for like, a week and a half. And my husband did not feed any of my fish. In fact, he didn't want to. I love him to pieces, but I mean, he thought I was crazy. So he still does, but he accepts me and loves me. But he didn't feed the fish, obviously, while we were gone. And then I come back and the fish are fine and they're happy.
You bet.
And they were just chilling out. And actually, I have a scarlet baddis in a 5-gallon with blue dream shrimp, and there's a bunch of microfauna in there, like a bunch of microfauna. And
Yep.
I don't think I've fed him in months.
You probably don't need to.
He's a beautiful red too. I don't want to go back there because, like I said, I took all the tanks down. So maybe I'll come back up on here and when everything. So when I have everything I want in here, then I'll work on other things again as well. But this was the one I've been focusing on for the last 2 weeks.
Well, you're doing really well. I'm
Thank you.
very impressed. That's a fun tank.
It is. Circle of life here. It brings me a lot of joy.
Right, exactly. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, I've been trying to get the ammonia out of there. It's still got trace amounts, but things in there are flourishing. So it's like I have the water test that tells me one thing.
Well, there are different kinds of ammonia. With that many plants in there, the plants they're absorbing ammonia directly.
Yeah, I was reading that. I was reading that they actually like ammonia better than nitrogen.
Right.
It's
so
scary.
you got a little in there. That tank is creating it in order to feed the plants. So
Okay.
It's nothing to worry about.
Huh. Okay, because then I can start adding fish then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm at a dilemma. That's where I'm at right now is what do I want to put in here? I have small fish, but I mean, this is my main display tank. If I put the pea puffers in here, because I've got 13 of them now, that kind of limits me.
It does.
It does.
They're real nippers.
Yeah. So they were in a 29-gallon. I had 5 of them in a 29-gallon, and I had chili rasboras, a golden hill stream loach, 4 autosynclus, and a mono shrimp, believe it or not. And and coolie loaches. Coolie loaches actually were perfect symbiotic because they would eat, because pea puffers would pick at the snails I would feed them, because snail culture, and they can kind of they're messy eaters, and they just sort of leave decaying dead things lying around, and the coolie loaches would come in and clean up after them.
Oh, yeah.
I would recommend to anybody who wants to keep pea puffers, make sure you got coolie loaches in there too. They're perfect.
Excellent. Yep. Absolutely.
It's a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I was finding that the pea puffers were getting along well, even with the chili rasboras. I mean, everything I read on the internet said that these guys would. I mean, they're really cool to watch, though. They're like velociraptors when they get together. Um, like seriously, they hunt like velociraptors.
Funny.
And they just told me. I mean, not the internet just told me not to do it, but I'm finding that it was working as long if it was heavily planted, everybody had their space.
See, the other thing is you've got a food web there.
I do.
Have continuing food supply. Those fish are not going to start starving.
Oh no, no.
That's the point where they attack other fish when they're starving.
Oh,
You're
okay.
not going to have starvation in there.
Well, I'm pretty sure the pea puff. I put a bunch of scuds in there, but I'm pretty sure the pea puffers ate them all. But that's okay because these things.
They're not going to eat them all. There'll be enough escape and breed. It'll be a continuing population.
Man, these things really do breed fast. Let me tell you. But that's part of the reason why I really love nano micro predators. They're just so cool to watch.
You bet.
And then that you can kind of see their little different personalities. But yes, like I was saying, I went from 5 to 13 pea puffers, and I'm not quite sure if I should put them back in the 29-gallon or not.
Well, you've made the point. It's gonna limit your other options, but it certainly would be dramatic, and you'll be able to try other things. I would go for it. Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
this is wonderful. 3G wants to come up.
Yes.
Let me say goodbye to you. Is there anything else you want to?
Nope, that's it. If I get another tank going with the pea puffers, I'll show you how it works out. But thank you for letting me be on here. It was really fun.
I love it. And thank you for coming up.
You're quite welcome. I'll listen in.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hey, 3G.
Hey, Father Fish. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I was enjoying her tanks. It's beautiful.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
It's
really, the variety of plants in there is just remarkable.
I'm ashamed to follow her.
I hear you. I know. Me too.
Well, this is my favorite Father Fish style tank.
Oh, love it. Is that guppies?
No, those are red-tailed Dalmatian platies.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure enough.
And there's Panda Gara, Panda Cories, bamboo shrimp.
Wow. It's a pretty good variety of plants.
There's a few in there. I haven't had it set up too long. I mean, as a lot of people have had, but it's growing in pretty good for me.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Nubius and Vals and Wisterias, swords.
Yeah.
All the easy stuff. I'm the easy guy.
Java fern. Yeah, that's right. I'm for that.
I was just I was waiting before she came up, and I just kind of hung around just to maybe somebody wanted to see a different tank.
Yeah, real nice.
I'm gonna be ordering some least killifish from you. You still have them? You still have them in stock?
I do, and I'm gonna be getting some more. I've got a wholesaler wants to try them, so I'm gonna try to get a couple of hundred of them.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I got one more tank I'll show you right quick.
Oh, good.
This one hasn't grown in quite as good, but it's getting started.
Oh, yeah. Do you have pea gravel on it? What is that?
This tank I picked up on Marketplace. A guy gave it to me, and to be honest with you, this was what was in it. I have no idea what it is.
Oh, you didn't change it. Okay.
I didn't change it. I didn't change the gravel. I did put dirt under it.
Did you? Oh, good for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
there's
like a pea gravel. That's nice. I like it. You could add some sand to it if you find that you're getting too much uh, um, organic material in the water. It looks like you're getting some tannins, which is good.
yeah, there is. There's a pretty substantial piece of wood over here. And then I guess it may be coming from the soil also.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, it may not be a problem. If it becomes a problem, just add some sand.
Got
But it
guppies.
looks great. Everything looks healthy and happy.
How you like the Java trees?
Oh, that is cool. that is cool. Funny.
There's guppies, white clouds, celestial pearl, danio, chili, rasbora, ember tetras. Lots of nano fish.
Oh, a nice selection of fish in there. What
Few
type of
guppy.
tank is that?
That's a 40 breeder.
That's one of my favorite tanks. I
Yes,
love
sir.
the depth.
Yes, sir. It is. I love a 40 breeder.
Yep.
Got a
Mine's
few.
so dark you can't see through it hardly.
You know, Greg the guppy guy's got a few guppies in there.
Well, all right. Nice.
Well, good deal, Father Fish. I'll jump down and make room for somebody else. I don't know if you got anybody else in the wings, but I just wanted to come up and say hi and ask you about the killifish, mainly the least.
Yeah, I do have those, so be happy to come out and take it. Thanks for coming up, 3G.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you very
Yes, sir.
much.
Have a good evening.
Bye for now. Yes, EJ, that's Blackwater. Certainly is. I've got a Blackwater tank here. This is so black you can't see into it hardly, and my light's pushed off to the back. But you can see I've got some silver hatchets. I have rams in there. I need to get more light on it. The fish love it. They love tannins. Let's see. Officially asking Michael what he's looking for. Crystal, hello, Crystal. Nice to see you. Michael Brannon says, I got to start looking for more used items rather than buying new. From what I've seen from this channel, is there's a lot of good used stuff online. There absolutely is. I don't think I have a tank here that I bought new. Well, I do. The 29s. They were special order from my shop. Everything else came to me as a used tank. I have a friend, Andy, who some of you have met. He's got about 60 tanks set up. Every one of them are used tanks. He has yet to buy a new tank and found no reason to do it. He's got big tanks, little tanks. He showed me a couple of 40 bow fronts today that he's going to shut down. Oh, let's see. Nano Aquarium guy. Asaya Llewellyn. Nice to see you, Asaya. We're at 9:34. We're running into Lucas. I guess we need to. Yeah, the market does overprice tanks. You can get almost any tank you want for $1 a gallon. 200-gallon tank for $200. They're out there. You may have to reseal it, but that's not hard to do. Brentwood's gone to bed. Good night, Brent. James Kite. Nice to see you, James Michael Brennan. Okie dokie. Let's see. AJ's talking about researching Blackwater. I will talk about this Blackwater tank. I just did a video on it. Basically, what I've done is add a very deep food web to it. Very deep humus, leaves and such stuff. I even added some carbon to the top of it just to add to that humic substance. But it's a big, deep layer of oak leaves primarily. And it's doing quite well. It was real cloudy for a few days, but it's definitely cleared up. Wanted to show you something else before we go. One more thing. This is a 15-gallon that was foul, rank, rancid foul on Sunday. And I told you I was going to leave it, put a little filter in it, and let it go. And as you can see, it has cleared up. Any tank that goes foul, if you get the source of the rot out of it, dead fish, excess food, whatever it is, take those out, it will clarify. It'll clear all by itself in a matter of a week or less. So take heart. If you got a tank that goes bad, just pull the fish out, get the dead stuff out, and let it sit. It'll come right back to where it ought to be. All right, well, thank you all for coming up. Thank you, EJ, for coming up. Nice to see your tanks. RG, thank you. Good to be with you guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock with Mary. See you all then. Xanadu. Hi, Xanadu. 3G, yes. God bless you all. See you tomorrow night and again on Sunday evening. Bye for now. Love you all. Go check out Lucas. Jump on Lucas.